Hello, Robert here, making one of my very first video blogs as a result of the fact that I've gotten so passionately involved here lately about my PoliBlog. The reason I'm making this video blog basically is because I've found that I've been spending quite an awful lot of time recently um, generating blogs for my PoliBlog that I've created about politics. And spending a lot of time doing so, a lot of it's because I'm not the best typer in the world. And I was just thinking that maybe I might spend a little less time and also getting more across if I were to switch my blogs from the text input to video input. So we'll see how this goes. Basically, I just want to clear up the fact that what I've been doing lately with my PoliBlog is a lot of it. What's going on right now is it's 2012, early January. The Republican primaries are and going on. Where 2 days from now the Florida primary is coming up, and of course Gingrich and Romney are battling it out. The whole Romney campaign got really shocked about a week ago with Gingrich's victory in South Carolina. So that's where we stand right now. And a lot of what I've realized as to why I've been so passionate about my PoliBlog lately with this whole Newt Gingrich thing is because it all relates to back in the mid-90s. And I want to make this very clear that all of you Americans that are 35 years old here in 2012 and younger, you have no idea because you weren't quite old enough to realize exactly what was going on in the mid-90s. But not only myself being 50 years old and old enough to have been there, so to speak, and have witnessed it, I particularly believe that compared to the average American, I'm a lot more informed about what happened because it just so happens that in the mid-90s, I was working during the evenings and during the daytime. What I did, and I don't know how I got into that mode, but I did. I spent a lot of time watching channel C-SPAN that had come out. And you must realize this. Again, this is why it's so different if you're 35 years old in America today and younger versus being 35 and older. It's because back then, in the mid-90s, there was no Fox cable news. Not when Newt Gingrich was the speaker. When he resigned, I believe it was the very following year, 96 or something. Actually, when Fox Cable came out. But all I know is that when all the things that went on about Newt Gingrich's period as a speaker, there was no Fox Cable news, and that's very key. And if you're less than 35 years old, basically, since you've been an adult, there's always been this Fox Cable. But believe me, it's not always been that way. Those days before Fox Cable are days that I consider the dark ages in national journalism. It was outrageously ridiculous. And the liberal media was able to get by with way more than what they're able to still get by with today with Fox Cable. But if you can imagine just for a second what it would be like without Fox Cable today. Anyway, thank God for them. But before those days, I happened to watch C-SPAN a lot. And the most outrageous point that I want to make with this entire video blog is the reason why I am so pro-Newt Gingrich is because of what I personally witnessed. And here's how it went. Each day I would be spend a lot of time watching C-SPAN. And I would watch the goings-on inside the Congress and all the awesome things that me and so many Americans, even Democrats, were excited about. Things that were finally getting done. Why? Because of the leadership of Newt Gingrich. Fact. I mean, and the fact that he offered a contract with America and he demanded transparency, that was a new thing in Washington. That was like, whoa, here a lot of people's, a lot of politicians' feelings got hurt because he would like, if he caught you doing things that were counterproductive to what supposedly the Congress had promised to the American people and put in their contract, he would expose you. Newt Gingrich would do that. And that was cool, There's no more darkroom deals that were... and there's a lot of congressmen that resented that about Newt Gingrich because when he came and took over, they no longer could do these little deals that were profitable that were done behind closed doors because he would expose them. And they resented him for it, and they developed their plan to get him back, and they, in a sense, did, but not really. What was so frustrating is watching that every night after watching C-SPAN on what happened, and then going home, turn the TV back on and watch how the evening news on a daily basis would totally change everything that I just witnessed that happened as it did in reality watching C-SPAN, and the massive difference in the reporting of how the national media would make all these distortions in it, and they were always to make Newt Gingrich look bad. And for a year that went on, I saw it. And having seen that and known the mistreatment that Newt Gingrich went through, combined with the fact that he got so much done and the fact that he had demanded transparency, we're in a period right now where Congress has a favorability record low, like 10 to 13%, whatever. And if you are an American people that you don't like the way Congress operates, then whether you know it or not, and I'm talking to you, all you younger Americans, younger adults in your 20s and 30s, if you don't like Congress, then what you really don't realize is that you need to be voting for Newt Gingrich, because what he did is he took Washington and flipped it upside down, and it even pissed off some of his fellow Republicans, because they were there to make money. And when he came to town, he put a stop to it, and he would call them out, and they ganged up against him. A few of them, not the whole number of Republicans. He was the person that was responsible for the Republican revolution that took place, and it was just so ungrateful. The only thing of disgrace about the whole thing, he didn't resign in disgrace. He made a speech a couple of days after the agreement was made on this what they cannot call a fine. It's called the reimbursement they required of $300,000. By the way, which Bob Dole loaned Newt Gingrich the money to pay, which is ironic. A lot of people don't realize that. And now he's like pro-Romney for some reason over Gingrich. But anyway, that's a different story, a different blog coming up. Point being is I saw all this going on, this American hero Newt Gingrich, and it was outrageous how they treated him. But the fact of it is, he did give a speech a couple of days after they made an agreement and called a truce in Congress. And Newt Gingrich got a standing ovation. If you want to call that resigning in disgrace, Mitt Romney, then go ahead. But what was disgraceful is what they did to Newt Gingrich. Anyway, that's why I'm so pro-Gingrich. Because I saw what happened. I don't think, I'm not going to. And another thing, one last statement is that if you want to look up and see some of the things that happened during that period, you need to go back prior to the year 2008. Because if you read anything past that, it's about journalists that are starting to realize that Newt Gingrich is considering running for president in 2012 as he is. And they started the distortions all over. If you really want the truth of it, make sure you're looking at some Google report that's prior to 2008, or you have no chance of getting to the straight story. Anyway, I'm going to sign off, but I just want to make it clear why I'm pro Newt Gingrich.